Hi, I am Amanda and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here for a journal update, this is my reading journal. It is from Scribbles That Matter and it is fantastic. I just use it to keep track of all the books that I have read and what I thought about them and how I read them and how many pages they are. Well, you'll see. Let's just get to it. So, the first thing that I usually do is print out a picture of the cover for each book that I've read. And I just print those on my regular computer. On my regular printer, and they're not photo paper, they're just plain regular paper. I cut them out and I stick them down anywhere that I want them to go. Sometimes I make sure that if I have multiple books by one author or multiple books in a series, I will make sure those are together, but for the most part, it's just completely random how I put those down. So let's talk about what these 30 books are. Some of them I read in August and some of them I read in September. You will see as I'm on the page with the books in there, the list of books, that there is a green stripe down the middle of that page, and that is my end of August, beginning of September. And it also lists the total number of pages that I read in August, which was 7,304. What I like to track in my journal is what the titles and the authors are, of course. I've been also trying to track female authors, and so out of these 30 authors, 14 of them were female, which that's good that it's almost half, especially because right now the people that I'm reading the most would be Stephen King and Stephen Graham Jones, and they're both men, of course. I was also tracking where I got the books from, like are they an old author that I have read before and knew that I liked their books? Are they a new author? Did I get them from my NPR challenge? Are they from my 100 fantasy list? So just those kind of categories. And I just keep up with that as well, like where did they come from? And then I put the rating that I gave them. So out of these 30 books, I had 9 5 stars, 4 4.5 stars, 10 4 stars, 2 3.75 stars, 4 3.5 stars, and that was it. And 1 3 star. That was the lowest rating that I gave, and it is usually the lowest rating that I give. So I also write down how I read the book. So was it a physical copy? Was it on my Kindle? Was it on audio in some form? Or was it a mix? Because I've been doing a lot more immersion reading where I listen and read the physical book or the Kindle book and listen at the same time. And then I write down the page numbers and whether I've put a review up on Goodreads. And that is kind of how I track the books. And it looks like a very sterile spreadsheet at first. And so I like to go through and use color in some way. So at the beginning, I was putting washi tape down at the bottom of my pages, and I just stopped doing that. I felt like it was making it too bulky in addition to having all the pictures in there. So what I do now is I chose colors for the genres that I predominantly read, which was funny. I did that in January when I started this journal, and the genres that I read have changed over the course of the year. And so it's been really funny that I didn't have horror at all as a category because I didn't read those. And I had to change and add that. I just added it to the thriller color, but I didn't have it before, so I had to put it on there. I thought that was interesting. So I go through and I highlight with my markers. Depending on what the genre is, I do it with that color. And I do the same thing. Once I get all the pictures stuck down, I take the same marker and I just put a drop shadow on the pictures and the drop shadow matches the color of the genre that it's in. So that way I just get a quick, number one, it just adds a little bit more color to that page, even though that page usually doesn't need color with all of the covers that it's on there, but it just gives it an extra little pop of color that I like. And I just loved some of the covers that I had this time. I really like the Frankenstein cover. It was a graphic novel retelling by Gris Grimley, and I love the drawing on the front of that. I really liked the Malevolent volume cover. That one was a book of poetry, and also I didn't have poetry as a genre at the front of my book either. I like the Memory Police cover. It looks really cool. It looks much cooler in person than it does on the thing right here, but I really like it. And the Talisman, if you've seen my videos, I have talked about the Talisman cover over and over just because I love the colors that are used. It's a sunset and it shows the same colors like reflected in the title that says the Talisman, and so I really like it. I think my favorite one, though, from this set has to be the Arm of the Sphinx. I like how the words go from being really big at the front to being smaller at the back. And I love the arm in the middle. Like, once you've read the first book, this is the second book, and you just look at that cover and you're like, oh, I think I know who we're going to be reading about. And it just sets you up to really to know what's happening, or at least what's coming. And I think that's very cool. Well, that's it. Another 30 books done, another page filled up, and another page ready to go. I love looking at the blank pages ready to be filled in. It's so exciting, and it just feels like new possibilities. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.